So, Sergey, I think many of the people here, maybe not all, but some of them are aware of the fact that this is the 10th annual anniversary Zabbix Summit, right? And before you proceed with your first speech, I'd like to ask you, how did the idea of Summit, how did Summit start? Can you tell us a bit about the conception of the Zabbix Summit?
Idea of Zabbix Summit started with Alexei asking me for a talk. And he said, okay, I think we have now enough resources and we need to organize something where our community could join us. Okay, maybe I'll disclose some secret. Initial target was 10 people.
Not bad.
And of course, we didn't think about any hotels and so on. I mean, like we could gather 10 people within our building in the room, it's fine. But then we decided maybe to give it another thought and maybe just give an extra time to prepare it. And then it took us like 4 months. And I think first time it was over 100 people from the very beginning, which we are very
a lot more than 10.
A bit, yeah. Yep, that's how it started. And from there, I mean, like when you start something, you think and you see that people like it, you like it, then, I mean, you just don't quit, right?
And we haven't. I think we need to have one more round of applause for the 10th Zabbix Summit, for the beginnings, for getting here, for you guys supporting us for all of these 10 years. Thank you, and thanks to Sergey, thanks to Alexei for actually coming up with this idea. Yeah, once again, without you guys, we wouldn't be here, you know. You have sort of got us all here and made the community what it is. Okay. I'm going to get off your back. You have a speech to present. And Sergey here is going to talk about Zabbix business news. So welcome, Sergey, with his speech.
Thanks, guys. Okay, yeah, my name is Sergey Sorokin. It's obvious, yeah, and I'm Director of Business Development at Zabbix. And my today's presentation, as you can see, actually about Zabbix business news, right? But it's a Zabbix 10th anniversary, right? And we're getting a bit kind of sentimental, right? And fall into memories and so on. So I also want to tell a story. And those of you who know me well, you would definitely confirm that I'm a storyteller. For almost every situation, I will come up with a small case study, a small thing that, okay, my friend, that customer or that partner is doing that, and I'm telling that all the time. So let me go with another story, and that's, let's say, a story of a small steps leaving a large footprint, leaving a large trace behind, right? So this story starts with a footprints of a man who meets an obstacle of not having an affordable tool to do his job. And just by the chance, this job is about keeping up IT infrastructure. And many would actually either give up or would confirm and would say, okay, I just need that huge budget, right? It's like there are no other options exist. Only few would actually ignite and would start dreaming and thinking and searching for a solution. But then even less people who would actually make a first step, right? Many of us are dreamers. We have these great ideas, right? I would change the world, but then something happens. I mean, like, too busy, go for lunch, meet friends, and so on. So I think we were lucky that in 1997, right, this first step was made by writing few, I think it was in the beginning, few lines of code that actually right now we know as a Zabbix. And this is actually where our journey begins. So, and as every journey that you walk, that you go, eventually you would come up on the crossroad, right? And it will give you an options, but in many cases without clear signs. You need to make a choice You don't know really the outcome. You cannot predict it, right? But what is more important is not only to make this step, right? Or let's say, not to stand there for your life thinking about the choice. Should I go left or right? And you need to make the choice. Maybe it's not going to be exactly correct. Maybe you'll need to return to this crossroad and take another path, right? But you need to make a step. And that actually takes knowledge, experience, honesty in front of yourself, right? And some courage. So, and that's actually, as we know, one of the steps, with the first steps. I can expect that it was about Zabbix architecture and the elements of that architecture, right? Which we currently know as host, item, triggers, events, and many other things, right? Then it was many, many years of just making small steps, making decisions, and continuing and continuing and continuing, right? Actually, once I heard this man saying that he is lucky that at that moment he didn't have a family. Because that journey was taken all the evenings, all the weekends, all the holidays, basically everything that a man can have outside of his work. And here we come actually to another crossroad, right? It may seem like a small one, right? Maybe even with some kind of directions known to everybody, but for sure, completely not any signs of the real outcome, what it's gonna be. And the options could be keep the software for yourself. I believe many people create something, they use it on a daily basis, they use it for years, but this is where it stays for all the life. Some people would say, hey, I should sell it. I should do some profit on that, right? And there is also another option. Let's share it. Let's provide it to everybody. Let's see whether people enjoy using that software, right? And the choices are not obvious. And for many people right now, even with our experience, when we say, hey, you know what? That's one of the good options. Many would doubt. Many would approach us and say, okay, yeah, okay. As a student, as a hobbyist, as something, maybe for a year, for two, but is it something like where you can base your life on? Whether you can run a company, an enterprise on this? So I think it's, again, it took a lot of courage. It was a lot of thinking, most likely, but this is what we currently have. And then the choice in favor of this last option is what today allows us to see hundreds of thousands of companies around the world using Zabbix software, right? Starting obviously with the first download as a source code. Then there were several additional steps taken to release the software as virtual appliances. This is what I still remember, a second option. Then we introduced packages, then we introduced containers, clouds, and right now we are proud to have millions of downloads of Zabbix software per month. If we take everything, aggregate all the channels that we produce, that's how it is right now. And I think some people in this room that are familiar with this story will say, wait. Before those whole kind of packages and so on, there is another thing that happened. What about choosing a name for the software, right? Where it comes from, and what does it mean? This is a very popular question, right? What does it mean? Is it unique? Did you find it in a book? Did you invent it yourself? Right? And guess what? I will tell you the secret. Are you ready for that? Okay, the secret is that nobody knows. Okay, there are some rumors, really, I know theories where the guy is explaining. I do have one theory for myself, which I believe is the right one. Right? But really, nobody knows for sure except for one man. And for whatever reason, he is not given the answer. Right? So during the party tonight, you may try once again. Maybe you'll be lucky, then you can share with us. I think you will actually get a hit on the internet. You can record a YouTube saying, I spoke with a man, he explained me. You're gonna be popular, right? But he keeps the silence, so this is where we are. Yeah, so the name is well known. I will just put it just for the reference. If somebody is watching us and they're like, what he's talking about, right? So, but today this name, actually that was invented, and looking at the design, for me it's a perfect design, but I would expect that it is IT guy choosing to spell the name and then put in the red box around. So I don't think that was a huge investment into the designers and finding different solutions and changing agencies and so on. But the good thing is that this logo stands like that. I think from the very, okay, maybe not from the, yes, from the very beginning. So it's unchanged, and I think we're proud of that. It's like, you know, it's like you are saying, yeah, my old logo is too old, I don't look fashionable, I will change it. In 10 years, you say, I need a new logo, right? I think it was perfect from the very beginning. It's easy, and we like it, right? The good thing, and this is what actually, again, taking all these steps we had to do, right now, this logo and the trademark is protected in more than 90 countries around the world, right? And again, we need to do those steps just to protect our community, protect our customers, and so on. And actually, we have more than 69 domains, again, for the same reason for Zabbix. So let's go back to that release of software. With the same moment of releasing Zabbix as an open source, we were blessed with the first people that noticed Zabbix, right? And they have started to form our community. And from this exact moment, the man was not alone, right? And footprints became larger. It's just not one man walking. It's already a small crowd walking behind, walking aside, maybe up front with those ZBX necks saying, I have a better idea where we should go, right? But the important thing is that the community started to provide a feedback. And the way I see feedback is more like those lighthouses across the seashore that give those reference points to the ships, right? And I think this is something that kept us on track. And I remember cases where a community would say, you know what? No, you should change a bit of direction. You should improve. You should go there. And I think right now it didn't change. It became more and more and more. I mean, it's not only about Zabbix Next, where you say, okay, there is a bug and there is a way for improvement, but it's just all this conversation that we are having online, in person, right? And this is what assists us in making this software continuously that open source. It's not only about license, but it's also about the way we discuss it, the way we treat it, the way we feel it, right? And again, right now, if we would look, I would expect it always starts with one, right? So it's most likely it was the first person who would start to comment. But right now, if we would look on those communities around the world, this is just a screenshot from our webpage, right? But it is much more than that. And while reading this, I understood, okay, there are more channels missing out of here, so we'll definitely add it in the future. So now we are proud to have all these people, right? And again, in the summit, right, in the way we talk, we may say, okay, here are partners, there are customers, users, but it's still more about being a family, right? I'm attending different events, and there would be always, or at some of the events, okay, let me be correct, there would be kind of a executive part where special people stay, you don't really get too close. It's kind of a few tracks for the event. I think here, with all that community and with the culture, we're standing next to each other, we know each other, there is no difference who you are, as long as you are interested in Zabbix, as long as you are interested to learn and understand what is Zabbix. Okay, actually, I would say that the same community raised also first inquiries for expert advice and requests for the services, for the professional services. The path that was chosen on the previous crossroads, right, about the open source, was blessed with the fact that we are in the situation, in many cases, when customers approaching us, right? And we have that time to create a great software, right, and improve it all the time, but customers are coming, right? And actually that normally or naturally brought us to establishment of Zabbix company. So somebody was asking me, okay, how it was decided that the Zabbix company should be established? Again, the way I know, it's where people coming and saying, okay, great software, can you just help me? Can you come? Can you deliver training? So it's not you're thinking, okay, probably I should establish a company. No, it's people telling you. It's community telling you, okay, that's the right time, right? And again, right now we are proud to have a certain financial results, right? Of course, financial results and numbers and profits, it's not something that you would say it is a proof that we're doing something right or wrong. It's more about sustainability, it's more about security, it's not more about insurance that you can continue to do what you do, right? We are also proud to have, and this number could not be exactly precise, I just know that it's over and much over, right, of customers that we have. That's kind of a all-time customer, no, not all-time, regular customer, sorry. And the team of more than 100 friends. And I believe you see this team everywhere, at the shop, at the parties, managing everything that maybe you don't even see, right? They're all around us and they're assisting all of us. So again, if we're talking about those small steps, at some moment we started to notice that there are some countries, right, where a greater cooperation or localization is required, right? Either it is because the language difficulties, differences, the rules of doing business, taxations, anything, right? But there were some regions where Zabbix was basically invited, right? And this is where we started our way of opening our subsidiaries, right? And just 7 days ago, as you may already know, Zabbix Japan has celebrated 10th year anniversary. And our smallest kid, as for right now, is 2 years and 1 month old. And maybe I will tell right now something that I shouldn't tell. It's, you know, different parents, they have different attitudes, right? But it seems like we're expecting another baby. With the software getting better and better, right? The next opportunity came along just naturally, again, approaching us in the form of companies saying, hey guys, let's partner together. You have a great product, we have a local presence, we have some guys that have knowledge, So what about establishing partnerships, right? And again, it was as simple as signing the first agreement. This is how it looks right now, right? But again, at that moment, you need to decide, okay, do I do partnerships or not? Maybe I go the way of selling myself, right? What kind of the partnerships do I offer? How to call them? How to arrange them? And to which companies they should be addressed, right? But that's, again, if you ask too many questions at the very beginning and how it will affect you in 10 years, you'll continue to stand on that crossroad. But sometimes you just need to dive in, make that first step, and most likely you will survive. If it's not going to be perfect, you will learn, you will come back, you will repeat, right? So again, we are very proud to state that over these years we had more than 2,000 interactions. This is what is recorded, and not everything is recorded, with different companies talking about partnerships in different forms and so on. We have signed more than 500 partnership agreements, but what we're proud of is that we have right now 242 partners around the world, right? With many of them actually being our partners for a long, long time. And they're coming actually from 55 countries, if somebody is interested to know. So, okay, I'm talking here about those, steps, footprints, and so on. But this journey, right? So where it leads us? I mean, you may say, wow, impressive, good. But then somebody may ask the question why we're doing this. Thanks, Nelson, for giving this idea. Actually, that's one of my favorite movies, right? And yeah, so somebody may say, okay, you're running for a year or two from one side to another side. Is it for the sake of running, or is it something behind it? Okay, I will not speak for Alexei. This presentation, Alexei didn't see it, thanks God, right? So maybe he's running for the sake of running, right? I see it a bit differently, and I think most of our team sees it a bit differently. We are running and making the world better. The way we understand monitoring, it's not about understanding I have things that go crazy and I don't care. Usually you put monitoring to improve, to make these things more efficient. And if we're talking about efficiency, even today it's about saving energy, it's about making labor more interesting, right? Instead of fixing, I'm not sure, something that is boring, you can do much more interesting things, right? And so I believe that Zabbix actually, on the global scale, I'm not sure it's possible to calculate in the first place, right? But we are the company that changes the world to the good, right? So the most important thing is, when I tell this story, of course, in many cases I tell the story for the story, right? But sometimes it's actually to tell something based on that story, right? And actually today I'm talking about another small step that we're doing. This step, again, came naturally. It's not about inventing us something, right? It is about our community, our customers approaching us and saying, hey guys, can you help me? Can you help me in a particular thing? So today we are talking about introducing of the support, technical support ties for MSPs, right? So it's something that we're completely ready with. We have the full infrastructure, we have the knowledge, we have resources, we have everything. The only thing that was missing is basically a commercial offer, right? And the right understanding. Of course, somebody would say, hey, it's like introducing MSP, new support ties, it's easy. First of all, we need to understand who is MSP for ourselves, right? Then we need to understand what they really want, because all of them are different, all the customers are different, right? And then we need to understand how we can shape that offer to fit most of them, right? So this offer, this publication, this kind of a product is ready. It's already ready on our web page since last week, right? So if anybody here from MSP business, if anybody is thinking about establishing MSP business, please contact us. We'll be happy to discuss with you details. We'll be happy to talk on particular contracts. If anybody is wondering how those offers looks, they're here again. You can find it at this address, right? They're aimed at different types of MSPs with different requirements. Again, our best guess that MSP is more host-oriented, they're oriented on devices. We're not limiting our MSP offer on the number of the customers that will be monitored by one contract, the number of proxies that will be used to do that, right? It's rather the number of hosts, and there are some SLAs that are in place. So this is actually what my story about, what it is about the next step, the new step. Maybe after that we'll do a few more steps. Maybe we'll need to go back on the crossroad, rethink, and improve. But we need to make this step. We need to move forward, right? So, guys, that's actually all of my presentation. Thank you a lot for your time. It was a bit of advertisement, but we have to do it at all.